Have you ever loved an ENTP? Or maybe you are one. If so, you already know. Loving an ENTP is like riding a roller coaster that talks to you, challenges you, and maybe tries to reinvent the track halfway through the ride. Today, we're diving into the unique, quirky, and often surprising ways ENTPs experience love. These are the debaters of the MBTI world. Bold, curious, energetic, and fiercely independent, ENTPs approach love like they approach everything else, as an adventure. But beneath that witty charm and unpredictable energy is a complex emotional world that very few truly understand. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll not only understand ENTP love, you'll understand how to love them back. For an ENTP, falling in love is rarely about appearances. Sure, physical attraction plays a part like it does for everyone, but the real spark, it happens in the mind. ENTPs are fueled by ideas, imagination, and conversation. They're drawn to people who can challenge them intellectually, people who can play mental chess, not just small talk. If you can spar with them in a friendly debate, surprise them with a new theory, or make them question something they thought they knew, you've already caught their attention. This is why ENTPs are often attracted to intuitive types or deep thinkers. They crave novelty, depth, and a partner who's as fascinated with the world as they are. For them, love is a meeting of minds long before it's a meeting of hearts. ENTPs thrive on spontaneity. Predictability is boring, and routine can feel like emotional quicksand. When they love someone, they show it by creating surprise, excitement, and change. This can look like unplanned road trips, midnight conversations about the meaning of life, or random text messages packed with clever wordplay. Their love often shows up in bursts, small explosions of enthusiasm that may not follow a pattern, but are filled with sincerity. They may not always remember anniversaries or stick to traditions, but they will absolutely remember the time you laughed at a dumb joke they made 3 months ago. That moment mattered because you saw them. You joined their spontaneous world and made it real. To love an ENTP, you need to appreciate their flexibility and see their unpredictability as passion, not irresponsibility. Here's something crucial. ENTPs love potential, but they don't want to build a person from scratch. They're natural visionaries. They can see what someone could become. But in relationships, this trait can lead to trouble if they fall in love with a fantasy instead of a real person. ENTPs can get caught in the trap of wanting to inspire or fix a partner. But at their healthiest, ENTPs want someone who challenges them just as much. They seek a true partner in crime, a co-conspirator in life's experiments, not someone who just tags along. If you're dating an ENTP, don't be a passive passenger. Share your own ideas. Have your own dreams. Set boundaries. The ENTP will respect you more for it, and your bond will deepen because you're meeting them as an equal. On the surface, ENTPs can seem flirtatious or emotionally aloof. Their charm and curiosity can be mistaken for a lack of seriousness. But don't be fooled. Beneath all that energy is a surprisingly loyal heart. Once an ENTP chooses you, really chooses you, they are committed in ways most people overlook. They'll defend you in public, support your weirdest ideas, and stay up with you through your lowest nights. They may not always express affection in conventional ways, but they will show up when it counts. For ENTPs, loyalty isn't about saying, "I love you" every day. It's about proving it through actions, humor, and fierce protection. One of the most misunderstood aspects of ENTP love is their need for freedom. They love deeply, but they do not love possessively. If anything, they recoil from clinginess or emotional control. ENTPs need room to explore ideas, projects, and people. But this doesn't mean they're disloyal. It just means they feel safest when they're trusted. Give them space to breathe, and they'll fly back to you every time. Trying to cage an ENTP emotionally will only create resistance. But if you give them the freedom to be themselves, they'll see you as a safe place in a chaotic world. And that's where the real connection begins. ENTPs aren't always emotionally transparent. They're more likely to crack a joke than give you a Hallmark-style love speech. But listen closely, because their humor often hides affection. If they tease you, challenge your ideas, or share their weirdest thoughts with you, it's their way of letting you in. ENTPs use ideas to express care. They might write you a goofy poem, build you something odd and clever, or share a bizarre fact just because they thought you'd love it. This might not look like romance at first glance, but it's a love language of its own. If you can decode their creativity, you'll see the depth of their affection. Here's a truth that can surprise many. ENTPs don't fear conflict. In fact, they sometimes welcome it. Not out of aggression, but because they believe conflict can lead to truth. If an ENTP argues with you, it's often not because they're angry, it's because they care. They want to understand you, test your ideas, and refine their own. To them, a disagreement is not an emotional rupture, it's an opportunity to grow. This can confuse partners who equate conflict with disconnection. But with ENTPs, healthy debate can actually strengthen your relationship, so long as it's respectful and intellectually honest. ENTPs can take a long time to open up emotionally. It's not because they lack feelings. It's because they live so much in their head that emotions can feel foreign or difficult to express. They may test you before revealing their heart. They'll drop hints, tell half-jokes, or express vulnerability through hypothetical stories. If you respond with judgment or impatience, they'll retreat. But if you show curiosity and compassion, they'll slowly begin to trust you with their deeper self. Once they do, you'll find a raw honesty and intensity that's rare. ENTPs, when emotionally safe, are some of the most open-hearted partners you'll ever meet. To keep an ENTP engaged in a long-term relationship, there must be growth, variety, and mental stimulation. Stagnation is the enemy of their affection. This doesn't mean you have to constantly change who you are, but it does mean being open to new ideas, new experiences, and new ways of connecting. Learn together. Play together. Debate, dream, and dare together. The ENTP's greatest fear is boredom. Their greatest joy? Discovery. If you can explore life's mysteries with them, even the silly ones, you'll keep the spark alive for decades. In many ways, ENTPs are walking contradictions in love. They're independent but crave deep connection. They're playful but serious about commitment. They're logical thinkers but deeply idealistic about romance. This paradox can be frustrating, but it's also what makes ENTP love so rich and rewarding. They won't give you a typical love story, but they will give you a story that is entirely yours, a story filled with adventure, laughter, and growth. To love an ENTP is to accept the chaos, embrace the change, and dive headfirst into the unknown. It's not always easy, but it's never boring. So what is ENTP love? It's a whirlwind of conversation, curiosity, and creativity. It's an emotional treasure hunt, one where the map keeps changing. But if you can handle the ride, you'll discover a partner who is fiercely loyal, endlessly curious, and deeply in love with both you and the possibilities you represent. If you're an ENTP, let us know in the comments, how do you show love? And if you've dated or loved one, what was your experience like? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs to understand the ENTP in their life. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.